Hello, everyone. We have Vijay here for a conversation. He's a data scientist in Siemens. He's also a TEDx speaker, and he has won multiple awards. The first one is 20 plus inspiring data scientists to be followed. This was given by AI Journal in USA, and he has also won 40 under 40 data scientist award in India. Other than that, the most important thing here for our viewers is he has an electrical engineering background. So it's pretty awesome. He comes from electrical engineering background. Then he becomes data scientist right now working for a reputed company in Germany with all these achievements. So Vijay, first of all, thank you very much. I know you are a busy person, so thanks for spending time out of your weekend.
Thanks a lot for inviting me for a conversation. I mean, like, I would like to take this as a conversation, as you said at the beginning, more of an interactive session rather than something like a typical interview. So, thank
Okay.
you once again for taking your time as well over the weekend. So, looking forward to have a nice chat with you over the next few minutes.
Sure, sure. All right. So the first thing is you are an electrical engineer. So how did you become
Yeah.
data scientist? Can you just tell us your story?
It's actually I mean, long story, but I'll try to make it short. So what I did is I did my bachelor's in electrical engineering back in India from one of the affiliated colleges from Anna University, Chennai, and I came to Germany to do my master's. Uh, I again did my master's in electrical engineering from Technical University of Munich. But then I got a chance to work as a working student. So the good thing about studying in Germany is you can work part time. So I started my career with Telefonica, which is also called as O2 in Germany. There I got a crucial breakthrough. I mean, you can call it a breakthrough. So there I was contacted by one of the data science team, and I was asked to do a small task. And that's when I was like, okay, data is really good, and it is really, I mean, fascinating to me. It was fascinating to me at that point. And then I started exploring a lot of online platforms, a lot of YouTube contents, and a lot of books, ebooks, blogs. So I would say it's more of a self-taught and a self-made path, but it's not an easy path.
You
It's
need to be
a zig.
have a lot of patience, right?
Exactly. I mean, like, I started this data science journey in 2013, and the awards that you listed, I mean, at the beginning of the call, or recent awards. I mean, like, I got those awards after 7 years of continuous efforts.
I see.
So you need to be patient. You need to have a lot of patience, persistence, and at the same point, you need to practice a lot.
I
You
see.
need to practice things. Yeah.
So just to summarize, you were working as an you did your master in Germany in electrical engineering, doing job as electrical engineer, but on that job, you got an opportunity
Yeah.
to work on data science problem. So now you started working on it, but then when do you become like a full-time data scientist? Like how did that transition happen?
Yeah, so I got a work student opportunity, as I said. So I converted that into an internship. So I
Hmm.
asked my manager, why can't I have a full-time internship so that I can focus full-time on data? And
Okay.
then I got an internship. I did that well. I then got a master thesis was also done. And then I got an entry job at the same company as a junior data scientist. So it was
Oh,
like, so the learning part, since I was a student, there was not a lot of burden on me. So for me, that gave me some space to breather. I mean, that gave me some breather. That gave me some time to look into some statistic courses, some machine learning courses, some Python courses. And since I was also a student in university parallelly doing my master's, I had the option of taking elective courses, like how
hmm,
we do in India. So
hmm.
there were chances for me to take up some elective courses. So I made use of those as well.
I see. So, for the viewers who are listening and who wants to make a transition, I think the takeaway from this conversation is on your job. Let's say you are a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer.
Yeah.
nowadays every companies are using computer systems and they're generating a lot of data. So you will have some
Yeah,
opportunity of doing data science type of
for sure.
work. You need to be open-minded. You need to look forward for those type of
Yeah,
tasks. And initially you have to put hard work. Your manager might not
yep,
approve it, but once
yep,
you have a persistent effort, eventually you will be able to make transition. And working in a same company, if you can make that transition, that is the best, because if you apply in
yeah.
other companies, then that might be difficult. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. I mean, internal switch is the first way to go. It's one of the easiest ways to go. I mean, it may not look easy as such. I mean, let's say a mechanical engineer suddenly goes to a data science team and asks for a task. Definitely, they'll not be giving him a task. So let's take a single project, do some small work, accompany the real project people,
Hmm.
take up small tasks and build on it. So capitalize on the beginning, and then
Hmm.
over a period of time. I mean, it's not like you just want to be a data scientist and you can wake up as a data scientist the very next day. So it is a process. So believe in the process, and I am sure that everybody can get this opportunity, but they need to be patient. They need to
Exactly.
wait. They need to wait for the right opportunity and right time.
So what do you do at Siemens? Like, just talk about some of the problems that you're solving.
Mm. Yeah. So Siemens, as you know, I mean, like we are a wide range of industries. I mean, Siemens has health industries, health engineers. Siemens Mobility is there where I work. Siemens is into wind, power, energy. So they have a lot of sectors. So the domain where I concentrate is with Siemens Mobility, where we deal with train data. So we deal with real-time train data. So whatever metros that you are using for your work in the past, I mean, since now it is COVID, not a lot of people are commuting with trains.
Okay, yeah. That's why you said past, I
um,
see.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but in general, we do projects across the globe. So since Siemens has its operations in more than 150 countries across the globe, we work with trains. So let me give you an example. I mean, like we predict uh, the failure of components in trains. So let's say a train is made up of a lot of components like compressors, engine, doors, fans, a lot of things, right? So we predict such component failure in advance. So that is one interesting project. And let's say in London, a metro runs in every 2 minutes. So imagine if a train is late by 30 seconds, it's a catastrophe. So we
Ah,
predict the trains that are scheduled to arrive. So these sorts of interesting live projects that we are doing.
I see. And what type of enterprise tools that you use? Because if you're in college, let's say you're doing some
Mm-hmm,
online course, they typically use
mm-hmm,
Python, Jupyter Notebook,
mm-hmm,
sklearn. For
mm-hmm,
learning, they will use TensorFlow. But when you go to
mm-hmm,
industry, sometimes people use some of the enterprise tools. So like, what is your technology
mm-hmm.
stack?
Again, I mean, Siemens we are a big firm. We have built our own tools as well for a lot
Hmm.
of things. But apart from that, of course, we use Python, Jupyter Notebooks. We use Tableau, Spotfire for data visualization, and we use data engineers. They use AWS and other cloud services as well for the pipelining and the other stuff for databases. So it's a mix, I would say. So it depends on each unit, each department. It depends on the budget that is allotted to each unit.
Hmm.
And as I said, since Siemens is spread over across 150 countries, it's difficult to use and maintain a single tool.
I see.
So if something goes wrong with that tool, then the whole system is collapsed. So that's why we
Right.
use different tools over different departments.
I see. All right. So now let's move on to some of your achievements, which is your LinkedIn network has how many connections? 35,000, I think.
Yeah, close to 35,000 people follow me on LinkedIn.
I see. So at some point, once you max out your connection, people cannot
Yeah,
make like direct connection. They have to just follow it. All right. So you are already a
yeah.
celebrity. Well, I'm just curious, like, how did you achieve such a huge, you are like such a young guy. How did you achieve like such a huge, how did you build such a huge network in LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn journey, it dates back to 4 or 5 years. I mean, like it's again like a process. So I take everything as a process. So what I did initially was I shared what I learned. So let's say I shared what projects did I work with and what results I got, and I shared some of the data visualizations I made. So I shared others' works by giving credit. So I shared a lot of interesting stuff over a period of time, and people started liking it. I mean, like they followed it, and they were like, "Come on, Vijay, your posts are really interesting." So that's how
Mhm.
it started. It all started, and now it's like I'm maxed out, and I'm close to 35,000 followers. I mean, like the 30 is the limit given by LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and yeah, I'm well above that at the moment.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
many times when people are building their career, they're in college and they want to learn data science, they often underrate the importance of LinkedIn actually. So LinkedIn is very, very important in terms of building your connections with other people. And through those connections, not only you can learn a lot of things, but you can get job opportunities, career opportunities. So everyone who's listening, please make sure you are building a proper profile on LinkedIn, and then you are building a stronger network because that's going to be super useful, right?
Exactly. Rightly said, Dhaval. I mean, like, the common Indian mindset is always this LinkedIn is just a job search tool. It's not at all. It's all
Yeah,
about building connections, building network, and reading a lot of success stories, learning from others. So this is the key core of LinkedIn, which people tend to miss. So I personally recommend a lot of people to build a solid LinkedIn profile. I mean, no matter what you have in your career so far, be it a small quiz competition or any certification that you did in the last 5 to 10 years, just post it. Don't be shy, because you never know which can open a door for you. And
I
also,
see.
you can also follow me on LinkedIn. I mean, if you wish, you can search for Vijay Pravin Maharajan for the
We
people
will
who.
post a link of your LinkedIn profile in the video description so that they can follow
Sure,
it.
sure.
Now, so you spoke in TEDx event, and you were the first Indian to speak at this TEDx event in Germany. So can you talk about that? Like, how did that opportunity arise, and what was the topic? By the way, we will post a link of your video, your TEDx video as well in the video description. But just talk about that.
Sure. So, as you know, I mean, like I love talking. So I keep giving on various talks. I have given speeches on various platforms, like be it a small auditorium or a bigger auditorium. I have had so many events where I was invited as a guest speaker or a keynote speaker. So I was presenting a couple of my projects in an international conference here in Germany and in Europe as a guest speaker. So there was a professor who just saw the talk, and he invited me for a TEDx. So what was kind of interesting, and at the same point I was really surprised that I was the very first Indian to be invited for a TEDx talk that is below 30. So it was a great pleasure, and I mean, I cannot simply put the happiness in words.
I know, yeah.
Getting a TEDx opportunity is like a one time opportunity in your life. So
Because
I
we always watch dad videos and we always think, oh, these guys are pretty smart. And then when you yourself get an opportunity, it's like, it's a big
yeah,
deal. So what was the talk
exactly.
about? What was the topic?
Yeah, so I spoke a lot about India. I mean, my home country, obviously. So I spoke a lot of data about India. I spoke a lot of environmental statistics and pollution and other stuff. How to keep our country safe and secure. So the topic was little things that makes a big difference.
I
So
see.
we always neglect little things that can make a big difference. So I just wanted to create an impact, and yeah, it is also good doing good rounds in YouTube. I mean, like it has it's just close to 7 months after the release, and it has already crossed 1 lakh views, 100,000 views,
Mhm.
which is good for a common man. I mean, like I'm not a big celebrity. Coming from a common man and getting such a response was pleasant.
Right, right. Okay, good. So since you are in speaking, public speaking and all that, can you give our viewers some advice on what is the importance of this public speaking in terms of career? Because oftentimes people, they want to become data scientist or they want to become software engineer and they only focus on technical skill. They only focus on Python and sklearn, but they don't focus on the soft skills, which is speaking in public. So what's the
Yeah.
importance of the speaking in public and how does it help in your career growth?
Yeah. To be honest, it pushes you to a different level. To be honest, I mean, like it's not just another title that can be added to your LinkedIn headline or something. So public speaking is something that so I used to speak in various stages, as I said. So the first thing is to come out of your shell, to come out of your shyness, and be it right or wrong. I mean, voice out your opinion. So only if you voice out your opinion, then people will start listening to you. So that's how it all started. And I would advise people to take this as a side hustle. So whoever it is, I mean, be it a software engineer, be it a doctor, be it a lawyer, whoever it is watching this video, please voice out your opinion and don't feel shy about it. I mean,
Yeah, don't
some
feel like
people
what other will think about us, right? That's a common thing.
Exactly. Just try to break the shell, come out of the shyness, and I mean, some people might mock you. Some people will, of course, pull you down
Yeah.
by saying that this isn't nice and other stuff. But don't be discouraged. I mean, like it for every speaker, it starts with that. So keep
Yeah.
going and keep talking, voice out your opinion, and only if you do so, you can become a really great speaker.
I was talking to one of my friends and he was like, okay, let me improve my communication and then I will give this presentation in my team. I'm like, no, you give a presentation and that's how you improve your communication. So if
Exactly.
you're working in a small team, your first place to speak in public is within your team. So within your team, just try to figure out some topic, some technical seminar or some
Yeah.
business domain conversation. So just start doing that in a small audience, then the audience can grow and
Yeah.
your speaking abilities will improve. And then you will have a spatial value within your company because now when managers are looking for someone to present in a
Yeah.
conference or let's say you're going for recruitment when you want to talk there, then
Yeah.
they will pick those type of people who are fearless,
For
who
sure.
can speak in public. So you are now creating a unique value for yourself. And
Exactly. It adds value to your profile and yourself.
exactly. And these are the people who grow actually. They become eventually managers and they climb the ladder fast than the other
Yeah.
people who are just focusing on technical skills.
Yeah.
So guys,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
remember, like these soft skills are very, very important. Vijay is a perfect example. Like he's so young and he's done so many things, so many achievements. Now, let's say if he wants to apply in some company, he wants to, let's say, apply for a job. Like if you look at his resume, the first 4 line, any recruiters look at it, immediately he will get an interview call, right? Or he'll
Yeah.
just get picked up. So these things make a lot of difference. If you have just,
Yeah.
let's say, Python and sklearn, well, everyone has that, right? Like
Yeah.
how are you different than the crowd?
Exactly.
So
Stand out. Be a standout person, which makes you unique. And as you said already, I mean, create a solid LinkedIn profile, build a solid CV, curriculum vitae, and then also have a GitHub repository. So that
okay.
makes your life much easier.
All right. Now, since we're
Yeah.
talking about LinkedIn here, and you are probably one of the best person who can talk about LinkedIn. Uh, Sometimes if you want, is it okay? Like, let's say I want to apply in Amazon as a data scientist and
Okay.
I want to reach out to some of the Amazon data scientists. I think what advice do you have? What I tell to people is you are applying for Amazon data scientist position in Bangalore, let's say. Uh, Go to LinkedIn, find some of the data scientists who are working in Bangalore office from Amazon,
Yeah.
try to build a connection and try to get a feel of how does the work culture look like? What is the interview process? Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, for sure. There is one option. I mean, even I would advise them on that particular front. So finding people who work in the same firm, try to get a feel of the projects that they work on, try to see if your skills can match with them, because every industry is different and every department is different. As I said, my department is using Spotfire for data visualization. Some of the other departments inside Siemens, they use Tableau. So every department and every company has their own principles and software. So it's good to contact those people. I mean, it is okay if they neglect your text. I mean, if you knock 10 people, at least one will respond. So that's my mantra.
Ah, no, that's very good point actually. So don't be
Yeah,
discouraged. Like sometimes people are busy, they're not checking their LinkedIn
yeah, yeah,
often. So don't be discouraged, just keep on trying.
yeah.
Do you have any interview tips for a person who wants to make a career in data
hmm
science?
I would say probably some basics of statistics would help. So a lot of top firms, they focus on the basics. So let's take Facebook, Google, Amazon, or let's say Siemens. So they focus on the basics. So they focus on let's say algorithm, statistics, and a lot of data science basics. So it's not rocket science where
Mhm.
they'll be giving you a lot of fancy problems.
I see.
So they'll be targeting some basic questions where you need to pull up your socks and think about which uh, idea or which model that you can use for this particular problem. So they'll most likely not see the outcome, like getting a proximity of 96% or 97% won't be pleasing them. But what ultimately pleases them is the model or the algorithm that you choose. Why did you choose that particular way?
Mhm.
So some most of the companies, they started giving out these case studies. So they'll send out a case study to you. They'll give you all the time in the world. So they'll give you 2 days, 3 days, or 7 days in some companies.
Oh,
They'll
is
ask
it?
you
They
to,
do that?
yeah, in Germany they do that. They just send out a case study. They'll give you a week, and it is up to you to refer any materials online. Any you can take help from any of your friends or colleagues, but ultimately you need to present that in front of 2 or 3 people in the interview,
Uh-huh.
and that is where they'll ask the basics. So they'll come to the
Uh,
basics. Okay, why this model? Why not that model? So
uh-huh.
why did this happen after this step? What was wrong in this step? What was correct in this step? So it's all about the basics. So as you said, every algorithm or everything about data science is already online. So people need the basics right, basics to be right.
Mhm. I see. And how about competitive programming? Because I had a
hmm
friend who applied for a data scientist position in Amazon here in US, and
hmm
they did a coding test. So it was like literally like a competitive programming test. Uh,
Okay, okay.
but I don't think more like all the companies are doing that. So like in your view,
Um,
for the companies like Siemens
mhm,
or other companies in Germany,
mhm.
what's the importance of programming or
Yeah,
competitive
for
coding?
for sure. I mean, like you need to be at a certain level. I mean, to become a data scientist, and especially in companies like Amazon, Google, and IBM, Microsoft. For sure, there will be a competitive programming test. So either it depends again on the demographics. So let's say in US, there will be a lot of programmers readily available. The market is huge. And if you take a country like Germany, Germany is relatively smaller in terms of workforce. So that is why you see a lot of Indians coming to Germany now of late.
Hmm.
So here, it like probably they'll be doing a pair programming in some cases.
Uh-huh.
They'll do a competitive programming test. They'll ask you to share your screen and work on a problem online so that the
Oh,
other person can see what you code. That is also there. And as I said, in most cases, it's a case study. So they'll give you a couple of days to finish off. You can get any sort of help from anybody, but ultimately you need to present, you need to break down each and every single line of the code. So that ultimately it is again like a programming. I mean, like if you have done that, or if you know the basics, then you will answer it, right? If you have
Mhm.
gotten a help from Google, let's say, or from your friends, you might. I mean
But you might not, yeah.
that explanation from you simply reveals it.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Right?
the people who are interviewing, they're very smart. So even if you took
Yeah.
help from your friend, they will ask critical question, or they might change a problem statement a little bit, and they will figure out whether you did
Yeah.
it or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Yeah.
So if anyone wants to build a career as a data scientist in Germany, let's say if person
Mm-hmm.
is in India and he wants to move to
Mm-hmm.
Germany to build this career,
Mm-hmm.
like what advice do you have for such a person?
Mm-hmm. So I would say if it depends on what level he's in. If he's a student, I would strongly recommend to him or her to pursue a master's in Germany. Of course, doing a master's in Germany is really cheap. So I just paid close to 30,000 INR for my master's. Would you believe it?
What? Really?
Seriously, yeah, seriously.
This is so much opposite to what you have here in US. Here
Yeah,
in US, probably you'll pay 40 or $50,000 a year actually.
yeah.
30,000 rupees for your entire master. Are you sure?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, most of the German universities are public funded. So what it
Uh-huh.
means is the government funds the universities. So all you need to get is the admission. But getting the admission is tricky, kind of tricky. I mean, there will be a lot of filters, and you know how the German bureaucratics works, right? So there will be a lot of,
So
in
is
some
there
cases,
any
there are interviews.
eh,
Mhm.
is there any exam like GRE? Like what's the process? Let's say you are in India right now. You
Mhm.
want to pursue
Mhm.
master. Like what's the process?
For sure, you need to give a IELTS exam in most of the universities. IELTS, which is the recommended English exam, and some of the top-notch universities, like where I studied, TU Munich, and some of the top universities are named as technical universities.
Hmm.
So the top universities from India are named as IITs, right?
Hmm.
So similar to IITs here in Germany, we have TUs. So here, if you want to get an admission in TUs, then you need to write either GRE or GMAT. And even some universities, they accept GATE score, which is kind of surprising.
Oh
they
wow.
recognize
Okay.
they recognize GATE scores as well. So if you have taken up GATE score, then you can also apply with the GATE score.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? In some universities, they do have either one or two interviews. So a
Hmm.
professor or a student representative will approach you by LinkedIn or Skype. He'll probably tell you what sort of areas they will focus on.
I
And
see.
then there will be a 30-minute or 1 hour interview. It's more like a technical interview. They'll see what a person is capable of. Again, just
Hmm.
deep diving into the basics. Like if it is an electrical engineering, they'll just go into the basics, deep basics. What is current? What is semiconductors?
Mm-hmm.
What is this law? What is that law? So it's really totally fun.
All right, nice. So the
Yeah,
viewers who, if you're watching, if you want to build a career in Germany, I think I actually did not know it is so cheap. So
yeah,
definitely consider this option. If you get an admission, you're
yeah.
golden. 30,000 rupees is nothing, right?
Yeah, even in India, we spend a lot. For one semester, we spend a lot.
Yeah, it's much cheaper than in India actually. And
Yeah,
once
yeah,
you, let's say you do your masters. So
yeah.
after doing masters, let's say here in US, if you do masters, you get 3 year OPT. So for
Okay.
3 years, you can, it's sort of like a work authorization for students.
Mm-hmm.
So you do not
Okay.
have to worry about your H1B, which is a work visa. So does
Okay.
Germany have something like this?
Yes, we do have a window of 2 years, which can be extended to 2.5 or 3. But in general, I mean, students don't take that long. And to be honest, the market is so open, and I mean, Germany has led the foreigners into the country in late 90s. I mean, after the reunion of East Germany and West Germany. Previously, it was two countries,
Okay.
East Germany and West Germany, and they united in 1991, I guess. So after that, they allowed a lot of international people. So it's just like two decades. And if you look at US, it's like, I mean, people are flying to US like
Yeah.
60 years. You
Since
can
ever,
see,
since it was
yeah,
founded
yeah,
actually.
Yeah, so you can see people in all type of generations. I mean, like people are living there over generations. But
Yeah.
here in Germany, it's like now it's the prime time, I would say. So in the last 5 years, I have seen a lot of Indian community coming in, especially when the fees is really low, and also with what's happening across the globe. So across the globe, there are a lot of visa restrictions placed in US and UK that made people's decision turn towards Germany.
Oh, so Germany is a attractive destination for immigrants now.
Yes, in the last, especially in the last 2 3 years, I have seen a lot of international people flying around to
I see.
Munich and other parts. Yeah,
So if you want to pursue your master's, the guys, definitely consider Germany as an
yeah,
option, because sometimes people have this favorite destination, which could be either US, Canada, or London, like UK, or
hmm,
maybe Australia. But Germany is kind of, it doesn't come into radar. But based on what you're saying, it seems very lucrative. I did not know it's so cheap. And at the same time, the job opportunities are also pretty good in Germany. How
yeah.
about language? I think, do you have to learn German
Um,
or?
depends on cities. So let's
Hmm.
say I live in Munich down south of Germany. So here, if you look at the population, almost 45% of the people living here are immigrants. So it's
Okay.
like the entire city has a lot of native English speakers. So here it depends. I mean, like let's take myself. I'm not that fluent in German, but I do speak good German.
I see.
So if you want to progress in your career, if you want to climb up the ladder, then I would say language is a must. I
I
mean,
see. Okay.
for sure, right? I mean, obviously, even in India, in our state, if we are letting someone in, then if he integrates with the culture, integrates with the language, then we'll
He
lift
makes a
him up.
progress. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the same here as well.
Perfect. All
Yeah.
right. So those are all the questions I had, Vijay. So thank you very much for giving valuable inputs. We are going to provide a link of your LinkedIn and your TEDx talk in the video
Mm-hmm.
description because below. So
Yep.
friends, please check it out. Do you have any closing remarks or some final piece of advice?
I would say just think out of the box. Just break all your shackles, come off the box, and stand unique. So keep keep up the good work. Keep doing what you are good at. That is more important. I mean, if you are good at painting, keep doing it for years.
Mm.
I mean, so some time will find you. I mean, like it will throw you some light at the end of the tunnel. So keep
That's a
doing
very
what you're
good
good at.
comment, actually. The time will find you. You know, like you keep on doing. I remember I started YouTube channel. I was uploading my
Mm-hmm.
videos. First
Mm-hmm.
year I got only 1,000 subscribers. It was not even 1,000, and I'm like, I'm doing so much work. But then, it's not up to me. It was the time which gave me the recognition. And once it started growing, nowadays
Yep.
in a month I get 10,000 subscribers. Previously, like it
Yeah.
took me 1 year to get even
Yeah.
700 subscribers. So being persistent and being
Yeah.
patient is the key. A lot of time people start applying for
Just
data
give
science
up.
job or programming job, they get little like very impatient, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to be patient.
Yeah.
All right, perfect, thank you very much. And I will provide all the links, and it
Yeah.
was just great having conversation.
Yeah. It was nice talking to you as well. Thanks a lot and take care.
Yeah, bye.